Welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities. Presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Dr. Ashley Little, corporate executive by day, serial entrepreneur by night, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, and founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLC. Tonight, we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Dr. Rowe. A little bit about her. Dr. Rowe is considered a pioneer in the nonprofit sector with over 13 years of experience. In March 2020, she created history as the CEO and founder of the first national nonprofit minority association in the world. Born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, her educational background is solid with the following degrees: bachelor's, master's, and PhD. She is considered an expert in the field of nonprofit startup, development, and management. She has spent years dedicating her time to learning about nonprofits. Her love and passion has taken her across the world, coaching and developing future nonprofit leaders. Dr. Rowe also created history as the founder of Blacks in Nonprofits, the first online Facebook group community that caters to people of color in the nonprofit sector. The BIN community has opened to people of color all across the world and is growing rapidly with over 20,000 in less than a year. A Black in Nonprofits conference series provides resources, empowerment, and networking opportunities for Black-led nonprofits across the world. Her mission in life is helping others to reach their full potential and giving back to her community. She believes in being a blessing to others. However, her proudest accomplishment is becoming a proud and loving mother to three amazing children who she proudly declares are her reasons why she goes so hard in life. You can find out more about her work at the association at www.nationalnonprofitminorityAssociation.org. Welcome to the table, the amazing, legendary Dr. Rowe.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Ashley. It's a definite honor, and I'm just so excited to be with you guys on tonight.
Amazing. I'm excited and humbled to have you at the table, Dr. Rowe. I mean, everybody has heard those glass ceilings that you are consistently breaking every day. So please tell us more about your journey.
So my journey in the nonprofit sector actually started about 12 years ago, and I'm born and raised here in St. Louis. I really love my city, but I found that it was a lot of challenges with being a person of color, especially a woman of color, starting a nonprofit and getting the support in the community. However, I had an amazing mentor by the name of Tracy Berry McGee, and she took me under her wings and, literally showed me the ropes of how to start a nonprofit properly. So I was privileged to start mine the correct way and then have the support. But after she started it for me, you get to the point where you have your 501c3 and most people get stuck, right? And you're like, okay, I'm a 501c3, I'm incorporated, I'm ready to rock and roll. Now what? How do I actually be the nonprofit after all the paperwork's done? And I couldn't find any groups or anything, mentorship or anything 12 years ago. And I was like, okay, I have to do something to create it. And so I started doing these free classes at the library to get other people involved so we can have a space where we can literally talk about the things that we want to do with our nonprofit and try to get our communities together. And it started to grow and grow and grow. And, 12 years later, I noticed that present day that people of color was lacking the proper resources, tips, and tools to properly grow their nonprofit. And I was speaking at a conference in New York, and I happened to be one of the only African-American women in the room and the only African-American in the room, period. And I was telling these other nonprofits, how to properly start their nonprofit. And I looked out in the audience and realized, they just dropped $800 to be at this conference. So they get it. They're invested. And they're looking at me like, Dr. Rowe, tell us something we don't know, And I was like, okay, I'm preaching to the wrong choir. And so I took the idea back to St. Louis and said, hey, I need to start reaching back to people of color, people that look like you and me, and we're able to network, resource, and really come together in a safe space to help grow our nonprofit. So that's literally how Blacks in Nonprofits got started. I called up everybody I knew, from consultants to former clients, to people I knew who wanted to start their nonprofit, and I said, hey guys, let's come together and let's bring all of our minds to the table, and let's create this community and really show people of color that it is possible to come together without gossiping, without the drama, without all the, stereotypes that we constantly have to break as African Americans in the world. And let's really start to change our narrative. So
I love that. And so let's talk more about your passion for nonprofits. I know you've been in it for a long time. I know you spoke a little bit about it. But, is that something that you always saw yourself working in that field, of nonprofits, or did you start out another way and then you just kind of pivoted?
I actually started off as a psychologist, and that's actually where the PhD comes in. So I had my own private practice, and I was seeing clients, and I really loved what I was doing. I'm very passionate about helping and being very solution-based. But one day I literally saw my last client, and I didn't even know that was going to be my last client. But I was just listening to him, and something just said, you know what, it's time for a change. Like, you are not being fulfilled anymore. And some say you go through like a midlife crisis. I still to the day don't know if that's exactly what I was going through. But after he left out of the office, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, and I really don't know what I want to do. So I went to the library, and I'm like looking all through the bookshelves, and I'm like, midlife crisis, what is this? I have to find a book on it because I think this is what I'm having. And I called my mom up, and I'm like, Mom, I don't know if I'm going to do counseling anymore. That's not for me. I don't know what career I want to do. And she was like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. Just take some time to think about it. And then I went through the aisle at the library, and a book stood out to me, and it was called The $1 Million Messenger. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that book, but if you haven't, it is such a good read. You definitely should check that one out by Bernard Burchard, I believe that's his name. But in this book, he talked about he was in a car accident, and he almost lost his life in this car accident. But during his time down, he had a realization that he wasn't being fulfilled in life. And if God gave him another opportunity to do so, then he was going to find what his passion was and then operate in his purpose, and then he would live a fulfilled life. So he asked the question, what is your passion? What is the number one thing that people always ask you about? And so I thought about it. And the number one thing that everyone always asks me about was nonprofits. Like, how do I start one? What do I do to sustain one? How can I, get involved with your nonprofit? How are you over in Africa with your nonprofit? How do you go international? So all of these questions was asked. And in the book, it said, once you find, what the number one thing people always ask you about, then you turn that into your, $1 million idea. Think of all the ways that you can, make a profit from doing what you're doing and still have the passion and still have your purpose. Well, at the time, nonprofits wasn't really thought of as you need money to run your nonprofit. Most of the time, the myth was that if you have a nonprofit, you can't make money, right? So it was like, okay, I know I can't really make money with my nonprofit, so how is this going to be $1 million idea, and how is this going to, fulfill my purpose? But then I thought about it, God always says, like, He's going to provide all your needs. And so I was like, okay, I know I love helping people. I know I'm a good listener. I know I'm a good connector of people. So what if I really took my nonprofit and really went after it and really gave it my all? So I realized that my passion was in nonprofits. It was in helping people, and I can mix the two and really wake up every day doing what I love. And it's not a lot of people on earth that can really sincerely say that when they get up out of bed and it's time to face another day, that they're doing what they love and they genuinely love to do it. So it doesn't feel like a job to me. It just feels like I'm waking up, doing what I love every single day. I'm meeting awesome people from all across the world, and it's just an amazing and humbling situation.
I love that. And I love how you spoke about how, people started asking you about it, right? Just different people, a lot of people just started asking you about nonprofits, and you really took a step back and really was like, okay, well, this probably is my purpose or something I'm meant to do, right? And I think for that listener that is stuck in the middle of, that type of situation right now, what is some advice you would give them, that person that's really afraid to step out and follow their purpose and follow their dreams and really step out there and get it done?
Well, I would definitely say when I first started, even the National Nonprofit Minority Association and Blacks in Nonprofits, I was hit with a lot of resistance. And the majority of the resistance didn't come from necessarily African Americans. It came from other races because they just couldn't really understand or get the vision on how I was going to be able to get a lot of people of color, you know, in one situation, especially when everybody's doing the same thing. We have, you know, over 5,000 consultants, you know, in one space, graphic designers, people that, you know, teach people how to do nonprofits, all in one space. So how do we keep it from being like too competitive and things like that? So the challenge was just being able to bring the people together and do it in a sense of honor with integrity, because I had to build the trust back up, you know, within the African American race and all of that good stuff. So even when you face challenges and you have your naysayers, everybody has some haters, you know, the people that say that you can't do it, but you have to look past that. And then you have to think of, what do you want and how bad do you want it? So I wanted it so bad to see our people get ahead in the nonprofit sector that I was willing to be all in. And by all in, I mean to give 100%. As an entrepreneur, you have late nights, you have early mornings, you have, you know, sleepless nights sometimes. You have, you know, to put your all into what you're doing, and it just doesn't happen overnight, at least not for most entrepreneurs. It's definitely skin in the game that's required, but you have to go hard. No one's going to go hard for your business like you are. So with Blacks in Nonprofits, for instance, I just went so hard with it within our first year, and I really dedicated my time and efforts to building quality relationships with people. I just didn't want to create a Facebook group and not have any connections with any of the people that's inside of the group. So I took time to get to know people and let people get to know me and see what the vision behind Blacks in Nonprofits was. So nowadays, you have to be a leader. You know, even with starting your business, starting a nonprofit, you are the visionary behind it. So don't be afraid to stand, you know, on your vision. Sometimes people will try to persuade you to, you know, add and subtract. And then before you know it, it's not even your vision anymore. So you have to be true to the vision that God gave you. Not everyone's going to get it. Not everybody's going to support it. But y'all know that saying, like, do you, boo? That's what you have to do sometimes. Like, you have to really do you. And, of course, you have to get a mentor or someone that can guide you in the process, and then be coachable, because, you don't know everything. And there could be times where you feel like giving up and you're like, oh, is this really for me? Am I really supposed to be doing this? And every entrepreneur, everybody that started anything has at least crossed that bridge at one time where they question, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? So reassure yourself when you have those moments of doubt that you can do it and you will do it, and everything's going to work out.
I love that. And thanks for sharing that, because I know that helped somebody that's listening right now. And so let's talk more about, you know, you made history in the pandemic and founded the first national nonprofit minority association in the world. Let's talk about that some more. That's huge.
Yeah, that was a very huge accomplishment for 2020. When I first originally started it, I didn't realize that it was going to be so impactful for so many different minority-led nonprofits. So the National Nonprofit Minority Association, of course, I started it with Blacks in Nonprofits because, again, I'm an African-American woman, so I wanted to make sure that I helped my people first. But then I also have Hispanics in nonprofits, Native Americans in nonprofits, and Asians in nonprofits. So what I realized from interacting with so many different nonprofits from all across the world is that we all have similar, issues, similar hurdles that we have to overcome in the nonprofit sector. And race isn't the only thing that separates us or divides us, but the need to help and the spirit of giving back and the passion that we have for our nonprofits is the same across the board. It didn't matter what race they were, we all come together in the nonprofit sector to give back, to be a blessing to others, to, be leaders and pillars in our community. So we have that in common. But we can't overlook the fact that, some people have it harder and some people have more hurdles to overcome than other races inside the nonprofit sector. So each race has to have its own separate platform so they can have a safe space where they can talk about those issues. And then as a whole, we come back together and say, how can we best come together to serve, as a whole community or the bigger communities that we serve.
Wow, I love that. And how can, listeners be a part of the National Nonprofit Minority Association?
So the National Nonprofit Minority Association, we have two different membership types for nonprofits to be able to join. So our newbies, you can join as a newbie, and that's someone that wants to start their nonprofit. They're not incorporated yet. They don't have their 501c3. They're really trying to find the right way to go and make sure that they started correct. And then our next level is our Nonprofit Nerd Society, which is a weekly mentorship that is year-round, and they can join that at the elite level. So those are our two ways for nonprofits to join. And then if you are a business provider, a grant writer, a nonprofit consultant, a graphic designer, a tax consultant for nonprofits, insurance agent for nonprofits, you can join the National Nonprofit Minority Association as a business provider. And you can find that on our website, www.nationalnonprofitminorityAssociation.org.
So make sure you all go and join, and get involved with this amazing association. So Dr. Rowe, what are some strategies you would like to give to aspiring nonprofit leaders that are listening, that are looking to grow in a nonprofit industry?
I would definitely say to get plugged in to a community where you can get resources, tools, and really get surrounded by people that can help you with your nonprofit and take it to the next level. There's a lot of myths out there with starting a nonprofit. A lot of times people start their nonprofit because they think that they're just going to get grant money right off the bat. It fortunately doesn't happen like that. In a perfect world, I would definitely wish it would, because that would help out so many people to do so much more for the communities and the populations that they serve. But unfortunately, you have to show impact. And by being able to show impact, that means that you have to get out in the community and do the work and be able to show proper documentation that you're doing the work. And so if you are not documenting and you're not actually out doing the work in the community, it's going to be very challenging to, present your proposal for a grant if you can't show why you need this money. So that's one tip, is to actually, do the work that you're saying you're doing. You got to put, boots to the ground. Unfortunately, most of the times it will come out of your own money when you're first getting started off, but that doesn't always have to be the case. And then stay consistent, especially like on social media. Social media is a huge freebie for nonprofits, and a lot of people are taking advantage of it, but a lot of people are not. Facebook is free, so if you don't have a nonprofit Facebook page for your nonprofit, I highly suggest that you create one and then start to be consistent in your posts for it, so you can build up an audience of supporters and future supporters that will support your nonprofit. There's several ways that you can do fundraisers on Facebook and get support. And then when you do have events and things like that, then you have a community of people that already know about you and know about the work that you're doing. And it's not like a cold audience that you're trying to get involved and support your nonprofit. Another tip would definitely be to make sure that you're filing your taxes where you're supposed to. Sometimes people may forget, and if you go too long without filing your taxes, they will dissolve your nonprofit. And you don't want to put in all this hard work, effort, and money into starting a nonprofit and then just have it, dissolve because you didn't file your taxes on time. So make sure that you get with a tax person that knows nonprofit taxes and can make sure that that area is taken care of for you. Another great tip would be to make sure that you have a working board. And sometimes when we're first starting off, we like to put family and friends on our boards, and we love them. But the idea is to have a board that can help grow your nonprofit financially. They're bringing in money. They're helping you raise money for your nonprofit. They're spreading the word about the good things that your nonprofit is doing and upcoming activities. And they're highly involved in making sure that your nonprofit is growing on a continuous basis. So making sure that you have a solid board in place is a great tip. And then if your board hasn't been properly trained, to get some board training, and it's definitely available and out there that can get your board up to speed on what they should be doing as board members to help the organization.
I love that. So I hope that our aspiring nonprofit leaders that are listening is taking nuggets down. And so what is the difference between a nonprofit and a 501c3? And I know it sounds like common sense, but sometimes I think people are still confused. So can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so to be a nonprofit, you simply need to get registered with your state by being incorporated. And each state varies with their fee that is required to be able to be incorporated. Some will let you do it online. Some states still require a paper document that you will have to, print off and fill out in black ink and then submit back in via mail. But for the most part, I think most have switched over to electronic. So simply being able to find 2 or 3 people that can incorporate with you legally wise, and then being able to have your mission statement and making sure that the name that you selected is legally available to be able to be utilized in your state, and then filing the paperwork to become a nonprofit. Now, in order to become 501c3, that is with the IRS. The first process is with your state. So after you get incorporated, you have your EIN number, you have your potential board members that you're ready with their names and numbers. Now you're ready to do your 501c3 application. And there's 2 different forms for that, the easy form and then the long version. Most people qualify for the easy form. Just depends on, what type of nonprofit you're starting and how much money you plan on bringing in for the nonprofit within the first 3 years. But to have that 501c3 status, it can take up to 6 months depending on which form you use and how fast the government is processing the applications when you submit it. But typically, the easy form, you can get it back as quick as 6 weeks, I've seen, and as long as 6 months, which is a stretch for the easy form. But it just really depends on the government and how fast they're moving the applications out. And then once you are tax exempt, then you will get your letter in the mail. And that letter is like your golden ticket for being able to apply for grants and federal funding. So that would be the 2 main differences.
Awesome. Now, thank you for breaking that down, because I still think people, need to hear the difference between the two to really be educated on a 501c3 versus a nonprofit. And so let's talk more about, Blacks and Nonprofits. You grew it in less than a year, 1,000 or more, people. Tell us more about your online community and how people can get involved.
So you can get involved with Blacks and Nonprofits by visiting the platform on Facebook. We do have 3 different levels for our Blacks and Nonprofits now, because we have a very diverse population of people inside of Blacks and Nonprofits. We have our newbies, people that are just getting started off, and they love the free resource group. They love being able to come in and get their questions answered and really feel like they have a community of people that's rallying around them to get their nonprofit started the correct way. And then our second level is our ambassadors, and that's BIN ambassadors. And those are our people that are like gung-ho. Like, they really love the Blacks and Nonprofits platform, and they pay $15 a year to be a part of the ambassador program. And we have special initiatives for them. They can go live, and we have weekly activities to help them grow their social media presence and really feel connected. And then our higher level is our Blacks and Nonprofits Premium, and those are for like our business consultants, our high level nonprofits. You must have your 501c3 to be in premium, but that's because they do high level mastermind classes on a monthly basis. And a lot of those have leadership roles inside of Black nonprofits, or want to volunteer as a leader inside of the group, and really what I like to call is like reach back and help each other cross, like the old days when we genuinely cared about each other and we wanted each other to succeed. So those are the three ways that you can join Blacks in Nonprofits. As far as the growth within this first year, it's definitely not any credit that I will personally take. I give all of that to God, because I'm just a vessel, and a humble vessel at that He chose to bless His people and to be a blessing to so many people. I don't take lightly. To be a leader to thousands and thousands and thousands of nonprofits from all across the world is simply amazing. And I, like I said earlier, I wake up and I'm actually, living my dream job and doing what I think I was created to do, and living out this purpose. And it's been an amazing walk to see so many people be able to come together and love and be able to fellowship. We have two main principles inside of Black nonprofits. First off, we walk in love. Second, we operate with integrity. And then thirdly, we definitely respect each other. And so most of the people that come inside the platform, they really understand that, and they try to uphold it. So we haven't really had too many issues with people being disrespected or feeling like they don't have a place within Blacks and nonprofits. I think for the most part, everyone that comes into the platform definitely feels like the family vibe upon joining at either level that you join on. Really, we take the family approach and welcome you in, and try to connect you to the right resources that you need. So it's just been a crazy but a good ride. Like, and I say crazy in the sense, like, I don't know if you guys have ever had or did something and you just like sit back and be like, wow, like that's crazy, like it's happening like this. And so I'm super excited about things to come. We have our big Blacks and Nonprofits conference coming in Dallas, Texas, August 27th and the 28th. And then we have the online virtual version on August the 26th on Thursday. So we have a little bit of something coming up for everyone. Everyone's been kind of cooped up in the house because of the pandemic and everything. So we are doing a very limited conference in person, and masks will be worn, and all of those great things. And Dr. Ashley is actually one of our keynote speakers, so we're super excited to welcome her to the Blacks and Nonprofits stage, and have her to get in front of the audience and really show what a leader looks like, and what that feels. And to have extraordinary African-American women that, the younger generation can look up to and see and be proud of, and have examples that look like themselves, is so crucial, and it's really critical for our growth as a society. So I just thank you for being a part of it as well. And the registration for that will open up later on this week, and I'll have her own flyer with all the information and all of that good stuff to keep everyone in the loop. But we've grown really fast within the first year. At some point, we were going by like 1,000 members a week, and I had to get like this big, amazing admin team to help me keep up with everything. And they've been absolutely amazing with, just going on the journey. As I say, everyone has a journey that they're going through in life, and this just happens to be mine. But I don't claim it as mine alone. I always say it's our journey. This is our Blacks and Nonprofits, and if each one does their part, then we can continue to grow and continue to reach other Black-led nonprofits that may feel like they're alone in the world, and they don't see people that look like them, and they don't have a safe place where they can connect. And that's where the ambassador program comes in, where, it's word of mouth. we've grown to 20,000 people because people care about helping other people that they know that's in the nonprofit sector or know that wants to start a nonprofit, and just simply referring them to the platform.
I love that. And you know what? I'm so excited about everything that you're doing in the conference. And thank you for this amazing opportunity to be one of your keynote speakers. I'm humbled. And so I can't wait. So make sure you all get your tickets, because this is going to be an amazing conference. And Dr. Rowe, definitely appreciate your amazing vision.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. And by all means, if you want to connect with me on social media, you can definitely find me, Renika Thomas, on Facebook and Instagram at the Dr. Rowe. And then Blacks and Nonprofits has its own Instagram as well, at Blacks and Nonprofits.
Awesome. So I'll ask my guests all of this same question. How did you create your seat at the table, Dr. Rowe? You created multiple seats for yourself and for others. So how did you create your seat at the table?
I would definitely say I created my seat at the table by being humble and being coachable. I always say I'm like a little sponge that soaks up all the information, but then when you squeeze me, I'm able to, articulate it back out and then be able to, help someone else with it. And just being very aggressive with my goals, I would say, because if I set a goal, it's almost like a personal challenge to me that I have to make sure that I accomplish it, no matter if it takes years or if it takes months to do. It's just something that I'm like, okay, I have to get this done. Like, literally, I had wrote a book 5 years ago, and I kept saying, I need to get this book out. I need to get this book out. But, life happens. And it happens to all of us. We be doing something, and then everything's great, and all of a sudden, boom, something happened. And I call that our life happens moments, right? We can't control them. We don't know when they're going to happen. They just happen, right? And so it's up to us to keep going and keep being resilient and bounce back to make sure that everything that we set out to do in life, that we get done, and we start having more check marks of things that we get done versus when we look back at our life and say, oh, man, I wish I would have did this. Or, man, I wish I would have just go ahead and devoted a couple more hours to get that book out. Or I wish I would have went ahead and, tried to start that business. Or I wish I would have, went to that concert. It was like something I've always wanted to do, but I kept pushing it off. And, so just challenge yourself to do what it is that your heart is set out to do, and your attitude about it is, the key. So I always have a positive attitude, I can attitude, and then, the sky's the limit. And really, there is no limit. So be limitless, and you can find yourself at any table that you want to. And listen, if you can't get a seat at the table, create your own table. Mm-hmm. So that's really what I had to do with Blacks and Nonprofits in the nonprofit sector. There really wasn't any tables for us as Black people, so I had to create the table and then bring other people that look like me to the table, and then break barriers to sit at tables with people that don't look like me, so I can be a voice for people that look like me. So I'm at a lot of tables, but it's been a long journey to get at these tables, and you sit at the tables and you definitely be the voice for people that don't have a voice, and just keep pressing forward.
I love that. I love that. And so what did failure teach you on your journey, Dr. Rowe?
Failure taught me that, we all have obstacles and things that we have to get over in life, and to not be a quitter about them. So I appreciate all the failures that happen in life. And it was a quote about entrepreneurship that I love. It's entrepreneurship is overcoming obstacles daily. So the day you stop overcoming obstacles is the day that your business fails. So that means that, every day you have to keep pressing forward and keep overcoming the things that you failed at. Look at those as opportunities to learn and grow. Like, what can I do better that I didn't do, the first time? And continue to be better and use those as vehicles to take you to your next level.
I love that. And so what did success teach you? Because you're very, very successful.
success taught me that it can all be taken from you. So as big as your head can get from the success, you have to be able to stay humble in that process, because you can be on your A game one day and then the next day really be, looking up and saying, wow, I still have to, get back on my feet and stand. And sometimes you get knocked so low that the only thing you have is to look up and start over again. So when the success comes, you celebrate your small wins, but you celebrate, the big wins as well. And then you remember that it's not you alone, if you're not in the religious vibe of things, but whoever your higher power is, you do have, people that have prayed for you to get you to that journey, and it's just not you alone. So you have people that care about you and that's supporting you and helping you along the journey. So just remember to be humble.
Yes, that's so important. That is so important to in order to be successful, to always stay humble. And so, Dr. Rowe, we are getting ready to finish up the first quarter. This is a new decade and a new year. So what can we expect from you the rest of this year?
Ooh, the rest of this year, I plan on having like a super dope second year. I'm just appreciative of everyone that God is sending to help with this vision of growth behind Blacks and Nonprofits. Like I said, we got the big conference coming up in August. I have my I Am, I Will book will be dropping next month. The conference drops this week. Just a lot of amazing things to happen. So I'm super excited for growth. I'm super excited for, just personal things in life, new chapters being started. I'm happy for, being healthy and, not being affected by the pandemic and just, just in life in general. It's a lot of good things that I'm hopeful for, and, just staying humble.
I love it. I love it. Well, super congratulations on everything that you have going on, that you have talked about, that you haven't released yet. Super congratulations on your book. And so I can't wait to see all of the great things that God is going to do through you in this amazing new year, new season. So super congratulations on everything that you are doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. So please tell our listeners again, Dr. Rowe, how they can follow you and support you on all social media platforms, including Clubhouse.
So on Clubhouse, I'm at Dr. Rowe on Clubhouse, and Blacks and Nonprofit does have its own group on Clubhouse as well. But if you want to join Blacks and Nonprofits, the best way to do that is to join our Facebook community at Blacks and Nonprofits, and Blacks, I-N, Nonprofits, and that's plural, on Facebook. And then on Instagram, it's at the Dr. Rowe, and that's THEDRRHO.
So make sure you follow and support Dr. Rowe. She's definitely somebody to know and connect with. So Dr. Rowe, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come to the table. This has been a powerful interview, and I can't wait to invite you back.
Oh, yeah. I'll come back anytime. I'm all about sticking together and collaborating. We win together in 2021. Let's go, guys.
Absolutely. Let's go. And we're continuing to work together. I can't wait to meet you at the conference in August. So make sure you all get your tickets and register as soon as possible.
Yes. Awesome.
Yes. So I would like to give a special thanks to my intern, Sarah, who is a Tennessee State University alumni. And I would also like to give a special thanks to my intern, Vontaria, who is a student at Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Dr. Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.